Hey everybody. Welcome to a very special short vloggy video for the D-pad. This was really short notice, so I don't have a whole lot prepared for this exactly, but after what has been a totally just ridiculous week, I thought I should probably take some time to say hello, for one, to our new subscribers. We have quite a lot of you. For those who don't know what's going on, sometime this past week, the video that we put out in October of 2016, so about 9 months ago at this point, or I guess 10 months ago now, A Brief History of Michael Jackson's Sonic 3, started getting an uptick in views. Prior to last week, from July 2017 and back, it was getting about maybe 300 views a day on a particularly good day. And very suddenly and without any real warning, it started getting hundreds of views, hundreds more views per day. And then that night it would suddenly get a couple thousand views out of nowhere. And then the next day it was getting, a lot more hundreds of views during the day. And then that night it got tons of thousands of views. And then by the third day it was getting hundreds of views an hour. I think the peak at the end of all of this was that there was 1 hour where the video got about 3,200 views, which, depending on when you're watching this, I have no idea what the video will be up to by then. Right now, as I'm recording this, the video is at 161,000 views. Last week, it was at about 60,000 views. In fact, it had just hit 50,000 views 3 weeks ago today. And I put out a teaser image for a video that I'm working on as a sort of a spiritual successor to A Brief History of Michael Jackson's Sonic the Hedgehog 3. That is still coming. Originally, it was supposed to go up on Monday. I've been putting a lot of work into it, and I wanted to make sure that it was really good. Given how much interest there suddenly is in the video that it's following up from, I'm holding it back just a teeny tiny bit longer because I really want to nail this one, and I don't feel like what I currently have right now is going to be good enough. It is probably actually one of the first videos ever on this channel that I've kind of held back a little bit for quality control. But I want to be absolutely sure that it is at least in the ballpark of, the level of interest and quality and investigation that the Michael Jackson Sonic 3 video did. So, yeah, last week, our channel had just broken 3,300 subscribers. We had about 1.25 million views across the entire channel. And the Michael Jackson video was it was around 55,000-ish views. And as of right now, we're about to hit 1.4 million views. Now this channel has been around for 6 years, so getting to 1.25 million took a long time, and then we just got another 150K out of nowhere. So that's about 9-ish% of all the views we've ever had in 6 years were from last week, mostly from the last 3 days. So 1.4 million views, 5,030 subscribers. We went from 3,300 to 5,000 almost overnight. And the Michael Jackson video is up to 161,000 views, which is incredible. 6,000 likes, which is also really big because, it takes a lot to comment. I know sometimes we got 700 comments on this thing. With 6,000 likes, it's not nothing. It means something to me. It means a lot to me, honestly. If I don't seem as shaken up here right now as I've been on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere, it is mostly because the last 6 days, I think at this point, have been so emotionally draining in a very good way. Don't get me wrong, it's a very good way. It was mostly just like that first little comparative to now little burst was so big that it was like I was panicking on day one, not expecting at all that every day was going to have just an order of magnitude more coming. And so I have been excited and exhilarated and really optimistic about stuff that we can do going forward. And the future of the channel looks really nice, especially because I mean, I don't think we've ever really complained about our size after 6 years. I know our first two were pretty quiet because we were kind of figuring out what we wanted to do. And then in 2013, in August of 2013, so almost exactly 4 years ago at this point, we started doing the Legendary Let's Play. And things started to pick up compared to before. It picked up a lot. And the end of 2014, when that wrapped up, we got lucky and got noticed by someone who writes for a Zelda Informer, and we got an article there. That got us a big boost. This one pretty well blows that out of the water. I think Zelda Informer got us about 100, 150 views, 150 subscribers in one day, and then it kind of faded out, but it was a really big change for us because at the time I think we were at 500 or 600, so that was like 20% of everything we'd ever gotten in one day. So we've always been pretty okay with like a slow growth and kind of building up and just kind of cultivating a little community of our own and playing games we like and even games we hate. Just being able to hang out together and be friends and just play fucking games. We've played something like 230. I'll see if I can pull. I have my my work laptop right next to me, and it looks like right now we are. When Sonic Mania drops on Tuesday, that will be our 229th video game. Actually, you know what? No, 230th. I think I still don't have Mario Run on this list, but Sonic Mania will be our 230th video game we've done on this channel. And it's just been a blast and getting to make those and hang out and talk to people and talk to you guys. And it can be kind of overwhelming at first. We've got almost 4,000 videos, and I've always kind of prided myself on not just being one of those channels that, does, 10, 15 minutes of just some game, don't care what the audio's like, don't care what the video's like, just put it online. It's never really been our thing. All of us on the channel have at least some level of kind of a perfectionist sort of thing where we just want to like really make something good and make something quality, make something fun. So if you are new to this channel, if you're one of the 200,000 views that we've gotten over the last week, or if you're one of our newest 1,700 subscribers, then I want to, kind of give you a bit of a tour of the D-pad and kind of help you understand maybe if there's something that you might be interested in, what you can check out, and, maybe you'll find something you like. All right, so this is going to be, I guess, its own little brief history of the D-pad, and hopefully that'll help you guys find some good stuff. I'm going to kind of walk us through kind of chronologically. That seems to be the easiest way to do it. The first kind of age, I guess, of the D-pad was just sort of us starting out. We did a podcast in April of 2011. None of those episodes are really online in easily accessible ways that aren't going to be confusing. We're working on kind of curating all of our old podcast episodes. I forget how many we did independently, but after we moved to on regular radio and then went back to independent, we did 75 episodes. So there's probably, I think, about 120 in total. I'd have to double check on that, but I'm hoping pretty soon we'll be able to get those online. Early on in those days, so the podcast was kind of a video game, but not entirely video game centric podcast. We talked about movies and TV shows and magic cards and all sorts of stuff that's just generally geeky. And so in June of that year, so June 2011, was the 20th anniversary of the release of Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis, and I thought, all right, what might be cool? So we had Sundays were our the days what we put our episodes up. It was every Sunday night, I think, or every Sunday at noon was our podcast episodes. And so I thought, okay, what if we have an event called Sonic Week? And what we do is Sunday, we have an episode that's all about the history of Sonic. We talk about like our favorite memories of Sonic as a kid, our favorite games, the worst games, all the stuff about like the past of Sonic. And then that Monday, we would release an entire playthrough of Sonic 1. And then Tuesday, we would do the entirety of Sonic CD. Wednesday, we would do Sonic 2. Thursday, we'd do Sonic 3. Friday, we'd do Sonic and Knuckles. And then Saturday, as kind of the link forward, we were going to do Sonic the Hedgehog 4, Episode 1, which I think was pretty brand new at the time. And then that Sunday, we would do another podcast episode focused on Sonic, but this time kind of doing like a bit of a retrospective moving forward, kind of summing everything up, talking about the later parts after the Adventure series was done, Sonic 06, Sonic Hero, sorry, not Sonic Heroes, Sonic 4, Sonic Generations, and kind of bringing everything forward, what we would hope would continue forward for the Sonic series. So we wound up doing that relatively well. The exception of a recording error with Sonic 4 meant that we had to call a mulligan. I was like, well, what would make a good Sonic 4 replacement? Like, oh, I know. And we did Knuckles Chaotix, which is such a hilariously awkward experience. But at the time, we had a website called dpadup.com, which we no longer own. We might be rebuying it again. I'm not really sure exactly what we're going to do there, but I guess whoever bought it out from under us vacated it. But we didn't have a YouTube channel at the time, so we just uploaded it directly to dpadup.com and posted the links to our podcast listeners. And it wasn't until later on in July that we decided that we're going to try to open up a YouTube channel. So July 3rd, 2011, we open up the D-Pad on YouTube, which I think is youtube.com/dpadfm. I think should get you there. And I think right now, too, dpad.fm will also directly link you to the YouTube channel. So we had Sonic Week, and I decided, all right, I'll chop those up into smaller bite sizes, like 12-ish minute episodes, put a little intro, outro, and we'll put it up on YouTube. But before we got there, we decided to do a playthrough of 5 Days a Stranger, the first point-and-click adventure game by Ben Croshaw, better known as Yahtzee, the guy who does Zero Punctuation. He made a series of point-and-click adventure horror games called the Chizo Mythos that had 4 games, but they also had a tie-in game, and now, actually, as of, I think, 2 years ago, there's another tie-in game. And we did one of those. We put up the broken-up Sonic Week videos. We played a little bit of Super Metroid. We played a little bit of Kirby's Return to Dreamland. We played all of Sonic Generations. And we did a fun football-y thing where we took Tecmo Super Bowl, and there's a group online, I think at tecmobowl.org, that will update the rosters of the teams and kind of give approximate stats. And what we would do is we'd have Let's Predict the Super Bowl, which was putting the two teams against each other, controlled just by the computer. They would go off. Our predictions were always terrible. I think we've only ever once had to be accurate. The Pats have been in the Super Bowl 3 times since then, and it's predicted incorrectly for all 3 of those games. So that's good. And near the tail end of, I think that's all but one of the games that we did in this little era. And then I had an idea where me and John would do a Nuzlocke of Pokemon. If you're not familiar with a Nuzlocke, the idea is it's you playing Pokemon, but with an added risk. So the idea being, so Pokemon is a bit, even at its hardest, Pokemon is still sort of easy in the sense that there's no permanent death. There's no way to really lose at Pokemon. You can always try again. So there's a challenge that exists called the Nuzlocke Challenge, where not only does it give you a lose condition, but it also is kind of emotionally manipulative because it sort of forces you to become emotionally attached to your Pokemon if you aren't already. So there's 2 main rules that go along with, I guess 3. There's 3 main rules that go along with every Nuzlocke. The first is the catch rule, which is the first Pokemon on a route is the only one you can catch. If you knock it out, if it runs away, you cannot catch that or anything else in that area. So if I'm on Route 2 and I see a Rattata, I have to catch that Rattata or I catch nothing at all. Even if I see another Rattata, I can't catch it. So you can only catch the first thing you see. There are versions of the Nuzlocke of Nuzlocke rules that have caveats to this. We have one that we've added. It's called like a lot of different things, but we call it the family rule, which is if I catch a Rattata on Route 2, and then way down the line, we'll say Route 8, I see a Rattata. I cannot catch this Rattata because I already have one, and instead, the next Pokemon becomes the eligible catch. So this doesn't affect your eligibility, it just means you can't catch that, wait till the next one. Same goes for Eradicate. If it's part of the same evolutionary chain, you cannot own more than one of them, and you can never catch one again. So if my Rattata faints, I'm not allowed to then go catch another Rattata. The second rule is that if your Pokemon faints, it is considered dead, and you must box it immediately. You are not allowed to use that Pokemon for the rest of the game. So there's a huge amount of risk in there because there's a lot of strategies that involve intentionally fainting your Pokemon to buy time or whatever. So now if your Pokemon faints, it is just out entirely. You lose it. the third option, the third rule, and the more manipulative one is you must nickname every Pokemon you get. So you have one eligible catch per area. You have to nickname it if you catch it, and if it faints, it is dead. So we decided to take things up another notch, and we're going to do Fire Red and Leaf Green playing against each other. And at the time, we didn't have a name for this. And the idea would be one of us, and I decided I would go first, would play the game until we got to the first gym leader. And then once you beat the first gym leader, we did Fire Red, Leaf Green. So once I beat Brock, I pause. Then John starts his game from the beginning, goes until Brock. If he beats Brock, then he pauses. Then the two of us fight our teams in an exhibition match. Whoever wins gets 1 point and has to start the next chunk of the game. They go to Misty, they pause. Whoever loses has to wait. They watch the first person go. Then they're allowed to go until Misty. Then they pause. Another exhibition match. So the reasoning behind this is, one, it makes it not just about, oh, well, if I have, a team full of grass and water dudes, then I can just troll on Brock and that's no problem. Sure, but if you're playing against someone who's got a lot of electric or flying or bug, now they have an advantage over your team because you didn't diversify it very well. So it gives it a much more competitive angle, and you have to think about a lot more defensive maneuvers in order to have your team work. Also, it gives an advantage to the player who's behind. So the player who goes first is going blind into a bunch of danger, while the player who goes second not only gets to know what's coming, but they also know what team they're going to be fighting in the exhibition matches. So they have a chance to plan a little bit for that. So it gives them an advantage to help even out the score. We didn't get a chance to do this due to a lot of different circumstances, so I started playing Fire Red on my own. And after a little while, that became the only content on the channel. It was just Fire Red with a lot of hiati. I was still living in my college town in a post-college apartment. I moved back home with my dad for a little while, and then later that year moved here in December of 2012. I moved here into where I am now, and things started to pick back up again, and Fire Red started moving at a more reasonable rate. So what we wound up doing is eventually this idea became known as Pokemon Rivals. That series should be down below on our dashboard. And we decided to call our format, at first we were calling it a rival lock because it was, Pokemon Rivals. You have two players who are going up against each other like that. But we couldn't really ignore the potential for not only, naming it something after the D-pad, but also because it made a really nice pun. So the way we refer to it now is as a padlock. So if you search padlock, you'll probably find padlock with an E. You'll probably find mostly our videos, but probably a couple others at this point. I know that there's a couple other channels that like the idea and they've gone with it, and all the power to them. I think it's a lot of fun. So 2013 is when things started to change. 2013, we were all kind of here in Somerville, and we decided we wanted to try to get the channel up and running again. And we had a couple ideas here and there, but nothing really stuck the way we wanted it to. So we wound up coming up with this neat idea where it's like, all right, what's something that we all like? And we realized that we all really liked Zelda. So we said, all right, what if we were to play each of the Zelda games? All of the Zelda games that people know and love, and that way not only do we get to play them, we get to experience them again and together, but also it might give us a little bit more of an idea of the franchise and really how it grew and evolved and where the story has gone and some of the things that have come and gone, and playing it in that much density would give us a different perspective on the series and its history, and so we did that. We set ourselves up in a studio that John was renting at the time, and we made what came to be known as the Legendary Let's Play. And that is definitely on the dashboard. And that was us playing. At the time we started, there were 16 Zelda games. By the time we finished, there were 19 Zelda games. And that's not even including the Philips CDI games. That's not including Link's Crossbow Training. That's not including the Tingle's Rupee Land games.
Hey.
It's Ben, everybody.
That's my keys. Hi.
That's
Hey, what's going on?
those are Mikey's.
Those are my keys.
Michael's.
My keys. Yeah.
Multiple Michaels.
What's
Oh, that's
piece of
for
paper.
white balance. That's
Oh.
just so that I can do this, and I can. We've never really bothered with that, and I've noticed that our
That's
colors.
probably why the colors are
Our
funky.
colors are funky pretty constantly. I came to realize, like, hey, maybe white balance might be a good idea one of these days.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
All right.
all right, Ben, everybody.
Hey.
So at the start of it, it was mostly it was me, it was John, it was CJ, and John's brother Ian. We added a bunch of people to our roster at the time, including girlfriends, and we actually that's where we got Dustin on the show. He did a little stint during our later independent radio times, and then jumped on for the main Let's Play stuff. And also Ben came in for Wind Waker and has been a staple of the series since. Which he's going to factor in later when we start talking about some like Mega Man-y stuff. But we did 19 games. We did the 16 that came out at the time. We did A Link Between Worlds when it came out. We did Hyrule Warriors. And there was probably another one that I'm forgetting. Oh, we did Nintendo Land Battle Quest. We did all with those three. Were along with everything else, which was basically the main releases up to Skyward Sword. So we have several playlists for the Legendary Let's Play. It's split into 4 parts. There are Legendary Let's Play 1, 2, and 3 because at the time we were restricted to 200 video playlists, and the core series was about 550 videos long. So there's 3 of those. And now there's the Legendary Let's Play Dawn of a New Day, which is everything we did after we finished that up at the end of 2014. So that's Ocarina of Time 3D, Majora's Mask 3D, Triforce Heroes, Breath of the Wild. I forget if there was one more. I don't think there was one more. That might have been it. I guess one episode of Twilight Princess HD. So the format that we ran with those at the time was we did one game 5 days a week, Monday, Friday. And usually that game was a handheld game or otherwise short game. So we did The Legend of Zelda, we did The Adventure of Link, and then we did stuff like Link's Awakening and Game Boy Color, DS, all that stuff. What's up? No, go for it. And on the Saturdays and Sundays, we would do one video from each of a different series. We did A Link to the Past to start on Saturdays, Ocarina of Time on Sundays, and we would just play through those until we were done. And we wrapped up the entire thing December 31st, 2014, and we put out a big thank you video on January 1st. So if you're interested in Zelda, we have the Legendary Let's Play. We decided we had to do something to follow that up. And what we came up with was, all right, what if we did the same thing we just did for Zelda, but with Mega Man instead? So thus was born the Mega Let's Play, which is still going to this day, 2.5 years later. Because it turns out there's about 70 Mega Man games. Right now, we're on Mega Man X Command Mission, which I don't remember exactly which game that is off the top of my head, but I'm sure I can find out in just a second here. So the way that we did that was kind of a hybrid of what we did with Zelda and what we do with other stuff. So what we did is during the weekdays, during the week, we would do 5 videos of a Mega Man game that was one of the platformers. So it'd be Mega Man 1, Mega Man 2, Mega Man for Game Boy, Mega Man, all the Mega Man X, all of those things. On the weekends, on Saturday and Sunday, we'd put out 2 videos, one of each for Mega Man Battle Network and the RPGs in the Battle Network and Star Force series, because those are taking place in an alternate universe or an alternate timeline. So we've been doing that for 2.5 years. We are coming up on our 1,000th video. We're at about 920 right now. So we're coming up on number 1,000 on that. So if you're into Mega Man, boy howdy, there is a lot of Mega Man. That is divided into 6 chapters, and they're split up kind of by era. There's sort of like the classic era they're not split up by series. It's not like here's all the classic Mega Man, here's all the Mega Man X, here's all the Mega Man Zero, because they're played in order of release, not in chronological order of the series. Because we wanted to take that time to not just play the games, but also investigate the history of Mega Man and Capcom and figure out how they went from being kind of these iconic games in the 80s and 90s and going to the 2000s to where we are today, where they kind of don't make games for Mega Man anymore. So it was I was really interested in finding out more about the story. So each of those games starts and ends with a sort of a live history lesson, like we got with a brief history of Michael Jackson's Sonic 3. It was the first series we'd done that with. We still do it. Every game starts with an introduction that explains the history of the game and where it comes from. And I've got this popped up now. Mega Man X Command Mission is the 49th game that we've played in the Mega Let's Play. We still have 9 more weekday games after that. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 weekend games. There's 4 games that would fall into a spiritual successor area. So there's a lot more still to come there, but we're at 49 right now. Actually, I guess technically 50. We played a little Mega Man 2.5D, so Command Mission's number 50. We also played Mighty Number 9. I highly recommend checking that one out if you want to see us in absolute pain. So Mega Let's Play came around, and around that time we were getting Pokemon Rivals up and running again. We started playing Pokemon X and Y, and that when we did actually make as a Pokemon Rivals, we played that to completion. We finished off Fire Red and Leaf Green. John got Leaf Green going, and then we finished them out together. We played Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire in 2015. In 2016? Oh my god. No, 2015. In 2016, we played Pokemon Insurgence, and that is currently our longest series at 138 episodes for my side alone. And right now, we're doing Pokemon Sun and Moon. We're almost 200 episodes in. We actually might be getting close to 200 episodes for that entire series. Pokemon Rivals is definitely on the dashboard, as is the Mega Let's Play, and in 2016 is kind of where things sort of flew off the rails for us a little bit. All right, in 2016, I got us into a little bit of trouble. See, I decided, so earlier, I guess, in October of 2015, we decided to do a Halloween special, and we did what we called the Fright Before Christmas. It was a great idea from Dustin that I went and probably ruined. We played the Five Nights at Freddy's series, along with 2 other games, Shadowgate and Gods Will Be Watching. And it took a lot longer than we expected. And by the end, it was like February, and we were finishing this thing up. And we decided we needed to do something to kind of lift our spirits. And we were playing a lot of Mega Man, we were playing a lot of Pokemon, but we wanted to do something new to kind of up our spirits. And so we added in the Dreamy Let's Play, which was the Kirby series, doing the same thing as Mega Man. The biggest difference between that and what we'd done before is it was just weekday games, 5 days a week, nothing on the weekends. We had live intros for everything, but no outros. We decided to kind of wrap the outros into the intro for the next game to kind of bridge the gap without feeling like you had to get all the way to the end of the series to get that closure. So we have the Dreamy Let's Play that was running from February or March of last year, running through to basically around a year later. I forget if it was exactly a year later, but early this year we put that on a hiatus for reasons that we'll get to in a second. But the Dreamy Let's Play, we're halfway through in terms of games. If you want to check that out, that's also on our dashboard. Then, here we are in the summer of 2016, and we decided that we wanted to do something special for having 5 years on YouTube. 5 years at all in general, but also 5 years on YouTube. And our first video on YouTube was that Sonic 1 video in June of 2011. So we said, why don't we do Sonic? Let's do a Sonic franchise play. And so that's where the Super Sonic Let's Play comes from. That's where a brief history of Michael Jackson's Sonic 3 comes from. That was a part of that as well. And we've been playing through that one for a while now. And I'm going to see if I can find where we're at in terms of games on those. I think we're about 40 plus games into that as well. Off the top of my head, I want to say that Sonic Mania is going to be number 44, I think. Let's see. No, actually, it's going to be 45. Number 45 is going to be Sonic Mania, and we're looking forward to that like crazy. So that one was the same as Kirby, 5 days a week. We started that with an April Fool's video where we played Sonic Dreams Collection, and at the very end of that, we kind of snuck in a surprise trailer for the Supersonic Let's Play, and I thought that one was a lot of fun. I was very happy we were able to do that one. And people were hyped for it. In June, we got started. A year and change later, here we are doing more Sonic, getting ready for Sonic Mania in 3 days? 3 days. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Supersonic Let's Play is down below. That one is also going to be split into 6 sections. Both that and Mega Man might have an extra 7th for like fan games or like bonus stuff. That one also is split into the eras of the games that they came out, kind of the rise and fall. Sonic's had a lot more like rising and falling than most other franchises, so that one kind of splits up a little weirder, but that one's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of other stuff we've done alongside. We have played the first Kingdom Hearts game, and we're going to be doing the rest of that series over time in anticipation of, and maybe after Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, because those games are kind of long, and I don't know if we're going to get them done in time with all the stuff we're doing right now. We put the Dreamy Let's Play on a hiatus while we're playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, because that's a humongous game, and there was no way that we were not going to play that at launch. We are now, as of today, we've put up 105 videos for that game, and we're probably a good 30 or 40 away from the end of the game, and then probably at least a couple more episodes to explore what's left of Hyrule. We did a lot of wrestling videos for various events. We would usually, when there was a big headline event, we would kind of simulate it just by playing through the event itself. We have 90 Minute Nails, which is CJ's series, where we play 90 minutes of some kind of a game. Usually it is an N64 game. Usually it is some kind of an adventure, action, shooty kind of a game. We did Doom. We did Quake. We did Quake. We did Duke Nukem. And we did Turok, Dinosaur Hunter. We've tried a couple others, but for recording problems have gotten in the way there. We've also done Dustin's series, The Empty Video Game Nerd, which is him kind of delivering sardonic commentary offset to some kind of a game. We did his first annual Empty Video Game Nerd episode was on Ouija in 2015, and last year's was Sesame Street 1, 2, 3. We're working hard to make sure that there's one for this year, and that'll be actually coming up pretty damn soon. I think 2 weeks from now is going to be about when that one comes up. So that's exciting. We also I'm like I said, I didn't really plan this video very well. Most of this off the top of my head. I just have the laptop next to me, so I'm able to like refer to it at a moment's notice here. Don't autoplay videos, please. Other shows that we have on here, we call them shows. We really play kind of fast and loose with it. We have D-Pad and Chill, which is a sort of live commentary on various TV and movie things. We did the first 18 episodes of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. At some point, we're going to get back into that and do the remaining 48 of those. There's a lot. We did the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, the old animated one from 98. That was a lot of fun. We have the Seriesly show, which was originally me doing frequent reviews of Bond movies. And then I kind of had to take a hiatus on that because we were getting busy, and pumping those out every week or every other week was getting ridiculous. I think the last one of those that I did was something like 40 minutes long. That got a little crazy, but we have since reincorporated that into other things where we've done reviews of the first two of both seasons of the old Mega Man Ruby Spears cartoon, the first two seasons of Mega Man NT Warrior. There will be some more Seriesly things coming out, actually some of them pretty soon. And I hope that at some point I can get back into doing full movie reviews with that, including going back to the Bond movies. And last but not least is A Brief History. So the original intent of A Brief History was to open and maybe close these franchise plays. We started the first one, if I can pull up the list before I forget here. The first one we did was A Brief History of Capcom back in January 2015. And that just kind of explained how the company got started and how everything came forward and how they were gearing up for the first Mega Man game. Then early last year, we did A Brief History of HAL Laboratory. Same idea. Last summer, we did A Brief History of Sega. Same idea. Also last summer, we did A Brief History of Concept. in anticipation of Mighty Number 9 and explaining how that one got started. Based off of that video and the game Mighty Number 9 itself, and also the weird Kickstarter that was the Red Ash, well, 2 Kickstarters, I guess, for Red Ash Magicicada and Red Ash the Indelible Legend. I made a video called A Debrief History of Concept, which feels a lot more perfect as a title now, which kind of broke down I hesitate to call it a scandal, but at least I guess minor controversies around the funding of those games and the anime specials and stuff. And then a brief history of Michael Jackson's Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which I made last October, and I didn't think it was going to be a dud. I thought it was going to do okay, and it did do okay even compared to other stuff at the time, but I thought after a while that it was just kind of like, oh, this is where it's going to kind of plateau out, and that's fine. I would still make more of those, and I still had plans to do more fun brief history videos. And then 9 months later, long after I had been focusing on it, it just like crazy. And that's where we are now. So I guess the short version of all of that history there is we have the Legendary Let's Play, the Dreamy Let's Play, the Mega Let's Play, the Supersonic Let's Play, Pokemon Rivals, Seriously, D-Pad and Chill, Empty Video Game Nerd, Play Per View is the wrestling one, 90 Minute Nails, and those are just kind of the things that we're working on right now. We've got a lot of ideas for other stuff. There are some people asking, how can we help get this video more views? How can we help you guys get more subscribers? How can we help you guys out in general? And one, we appreciate the offer in the first place. Even if nobody does anything just beyond watching this video and just random videos beyond that, that is plenty to start with, and we are super happy to have you guys, and I love that people are getting invested and excited about this stuff. It's the same stuff as it would be for any channel. If you know someone who might like our stuff, feel free to share our videos or share images or whatever you like. And we have a Patreon, patreon.com/dpadfm. Do not feel pressured that you are obligated to any of that stuff. It's we are happy to just have you watching it, but if you guys are interested in that kind of thing, we do have some rewards for Patreon backers, which we're actually going to be really updating that site in the next couple days, maybe over the next week or two, definitely by the end of August, to kind of fix that up and make it something nice and updated and new and a little bit more focused on where we're going for 2017, 2018, and beyond. If you want to follow us on other social media things, we have a Facebook that we definitely don't use enough, facebook.com/the.dpad. We have twitter.com/downrightdpad. We have instagram.com/dpadfm. Let's see, we have, I had my list here. This is about the only thing I did prepare. We have a subreddit that we're trying to get active again, reddit.com/r/dpadfm. We also have a brand spanking new Redbubble shop. We opened about maybe a month ago, and I'm updating the stock on there, and I'm kind of putting some things up and I'm tweaking things. Some of the logos aren't in the right spot on the shirts, so I'm kind of making a point of fixing that. But you can get there. The easiest way to do that, Redbubble has this gigantic, enormous URL that you can use, but instead, I made a URL shortened thing on our site, so you can go to dpad.fm/shop, and that'll get you right there. There's, I think, 4 items that are up as of the time I'm recording this, but this weekend I'm hoping to update that with a couple more. And over time, I'm going to be putting up more, screen cappy stuff, sprites, memes that we've stumbled into over time, all that kind of stuff. All right, I just want to give you guys a quick general channel update because so one of the Patreon rewards at I think $10 is we have a live hangout every month. It's usually closed to $10 patrons, and then we put it up online on our channel later. Nothing that we ever make on this channel is going to be gated. We're never going to be giving out early access beyond that hangout. And even then, the hangout goes live within 24 hours. No content is ever going to be completely exclusive. No content is ever going to be destructible. It's not going to be something that just vanishes after a certain amount of time. So anything that we make that is for patrons will be put onto the channel immediately after. But every month we have a live hangout, which, if you want to get in on that, it's a $10 thing. We normally do that every month, but this month instead, we're going to be doing our right now, it is going to be a 5,000 subscriber special. We've been doing 1,000 subscriber specials of various kinds since we hit 1,000. And normally during the Patreon Hangout, we kind of update everything. It'll probably be a 5,000 subscriber special. It's not impossible that it could be a 6,000 subscriber special, but details coming for that in the next week. And that will be open to the public. That'll be for everybody. So general updates, that is number one, I guess. Number two, it sounds like Pokemon Insurgence is coming out this weekend. And by what I mean by that is it's been in beta for ever. And by ever, I mean for like 2.5 years. And version 1.2 is coming out this weekend. And it's allegedly going to be the final version, barring some bug fixes. We had said a while back that as soon as it was done and as soon as we weren't doing other Pokemon stuff, we would get back into it. I think we're going to have to hold off on that slightly. The reason being we are still playing Pokemon Sun and Moon. And as of the last day of July, we had Pokemon episodes recorded out through, I believe, September 22nd. Me and John have gotten way more invested in the game all of a sudden than we had been before, so we're kind of diving in really hard. And now we're getting a little nervous that we're going to end up running directly into the release of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, which comes out in the middle of November, which really only gives us something like 40 more episodes worth of time beyond where we're at right now. So Insurgents may have to wait, or down the line, Insurgents might become a weekend thing. I'm not going to commit to anything with Insurgents right now while the schedule is as busy as it is. But we will be getting to that eventually. I will probably die almost immediately. That game is incredibly hard. And then we'll just play out the rest in a non-Nuzlocke format because I've been really curious about the end of the game anyway. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, odds are we're playing that when it comes out. We're still kind of waiting on more details to know whether it is a Black 2, White 2 situation or if it's going to be a reimagined version of Sun and Moon, which would be kind of weird if we're really honest. Sonic Mania, that comes out Tuesday. The first video for that will go live on Wednesday. We all have work. We got to get back from work on Tuesday to record that. But there will be a Sonic Mania special of some kind going up on Tuesday itself, so you can stay tuned for that. There was going to be another special. So I was coy in my descriptions earlier on about a special video coming out. There was a video that I teased when we hit 50,000 views for Michael Jackson Sonic 3 about the spiritual successor, the follow-up to that video. And the plan was to release that this coming Monday. There was actually a plan to release it a lot earlier, but, again, I wanted to make sure it was good, and we kept kind of pushing it back, and then we found a good spot for it in the schedule between Sonic Pocket Adventure, Sonic Mania, and then time has been crazy. This past week, I had work-based outings Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so today is the first time I've had any real time, so I haven't had a chance to really get that stuff done. It will be coming, but the video that was being teased after the 50,000 mark is not the one that is coming out at the start of this week. It may come out next week. It may come out a couple weeks from now. It will definitely be coming out, I would suspect, it'll definitely be coming out in August, September. I don't know when exactly there. I think we're going to be trying to time it for either late August or when Sonic Mania is done. I don't know which right now, but it is coming. But I don't want people seeing the special that we are doing this week and thinking that that was the big one that we were going to be, blowing stuff up with. It's still going to be a pretty big one, but it's not going to be the big one. So we do have a special and then another special. I had been describing it earlier on as there being one special. I don't think I ever actually said one, but it got taken as one, and I never really argued with it because I wanted to kind of surprise people, but, that's how it goes. Quick Q&A from Michael Jackson. We've gotten, 700 comments. That's a lot of them, and I just wanted to answer a couple of those before we were done here. I love that we got a combined set of comments that said that this was wow, it was, it's a brief history, but it's 22 minutes long. Not really that brief. And then we also have comments that are like, yeah, but you left this out, and you left this out, and you left this out. It's like, I mean, yeah, kind of. It's a 23-minute video, and I'm trying to make it a brief one comparatively. Like, I could write one of these videos and go on for 2 hours. I could do a feature-length, documentary video about, Michael Jackson and Sega in general, and probably not have a lot of downtime in there, but I wanted to make sure it was still a consumable amount of stuff. I wanted to keep it under half an hour as best I could, because the Seriously videos that we did that went over half an hour definitely took a lot more of a hit on retention, and I wanted to make sure that it was something people would watch, enjoy. And based on the fact that our retention rate for that video has actually gone up since this big spike, we're up to about 41% now. So what that means is if you take every view that the video has ever gotten and you put them together and kind of average them out, what it means is on average people watch 41% of that video. So it means that, either 2 out of every 5 people watch it all the way and no one else watches anything at all, or most people watch, 60 to 80% of it, and there's a couple that are down. Basic idea is it was about 38% before. Now it's 41%. People watching more of this video than they ever had before, which is awesome, and I love it. And it's amazing to see everybody's positive reactions to it and blowing everyone's minds with this stuff. There were some comments too about like, oh, this is like old information. Yes, for the most part, it is old information, stuff that was out there. But the problem was it was all over the place. Jim Hansen, a.k.a. Qjimbo, did an excellent job getting all this stuff together in the first place back in 2006. The main reason for why I did my video was that just new information had come out. There's a lot of discovered stuff in the 10 years since then. Ironically, so while I was working on that video, he put out a 10th anniversary of his video. And I was just like, oh, crap. He put that out, and now no one's going to watch mine, because why would they want to? They got the original guy who did this, who made a follow-up 10 years later. There's no way anyone's going to give a crap about mine. But I did it anyway just because I wanted to finish it at that point. I was already really invested in it, and now people are watching a lot. So in the end, I think it was fine. But yeah, like the issue is that like all this information was spread out in different places. Someone commented that Cracked did some stuff on this before, and it's all true. It's definitely a lot of different people have covered this in different ways. As far as I was concerned, there was no singular location you could go for the full story, especially not in a video format that could be, assisted with visuals, with actual playable music for comparisons. It was mostly just a matter of I was kind of bummed out that there wasn't a video for it, so I just decided to make the video myself. Which is kind of, in its own way, the lesson that everybody, I think, should learn from YouTube. It is such a great platform for creation and creativity. And if you think to yourself, wow, how come there isn't XYZ yet? Empower yourself to go make XYZ. There's a lot of stuff that you can learn and stuff you can do. I've been doing video editing off and on. Even before this channel, I started video editing for a sketch comedy group I was in college, and that was actually about 10 years ago right now. So I've been doing video editing for a decade, and I'm still learning new stuff all the time. I'm sure there's a ton more that I can still learn for sure. So, practice, learn stuff, and if you can think of something that you want and it isn't on YouTube, then go and make it, man. And you know what? I would love to watch that stuff. So if any of you guys watching this comes up with stuff that you're really proud of, then, let me know either here on Twitter or whatever. I'm happy to check that stuff out. There were some updates that I would really love to have made to that video. If only we were allowed to make updates, there were a couple things I would want to clean up, because if you can believe it, some pieces of that video were slightly rushed. I was really running out of time on some of the details, and there were a couple mistakes. There were a couple things that were left out. There's actually 2 spots where you can audibly hear a difference in the quality of my voice, because I recorded 2 lines near the end of the video, hunched over in my bedroom, holding the mic like this up to my neck, lying on the floor, because it was just the only way I could do that, because there was like stuff going on that night and I just needed to get the video done. But I would have loved to make a better visual explanation of the connection between Jam and Carnival Night Zone. I think that it was a little bit confusing how that was displayed. The red colored notes helped, but I think it could have been done a little bit better. The glass shatter for In the Closet is probably my number 1 pet peeve. The glass shatter in Carnival Night Zone from In the Closet, because I've seen a really good explanation of that, and then I went and didn't really match that. There were so many better ways, like take the original from the song and stretch it out slowly, because it is the same song, it's just downsampled. It's slowed down, so the pitch is a little lower and the effect is a little slower, but I didn't explain any of that. So like, there are probably people who watched the video, saw that, and was like, that's a completely different glass shatter, what are you talking about? And I mean, it does sound like that because I didn't do a good job of explaining it, so I would have liked to try that again. The Hard Times bit there from the Jetsons, I definitely let that run for too long, but it was mostly one where like I was so amazed because I had never heard it before. While writing this video, I found out about that, or while writing that video, I found out about it, and I listened to it. I was like, it is just note for note, it's the same goddamn song. And so I wanted people to have a chance to be that as blown away by that as I was. So I kind of let it hang for probably a bit too long, but I guess it wasn't too bad. My favorite comment to get on that video is always right near the start of the video. It's always the same exact spot. People watch the comparison to Who Is It and to Smooth Criminal with Ice Cap Zone, and so they'll drop the comment while they're watching about like actually Ice Cap Zone was Hard Times by the Jetsons, and then usually later on in the video they'll wind up deleting it because I bring that up in the same video. Likewise, people mention the Janet Jackson song that Bridge Zone used the same notes for. That one actually has been covered on the show before. If you go back, we have Sonic 1 for Game Gear under our Let's Plays, and in the intro for that, we explain that connection also, and we play them next to each other. We also got a fun one for Final Zone from Sonic 1 on the Genesis in that same video. The Jungle Zone one I still don't get. There's a connection that someone mentioned, and I brought it up there because there was a lot of people talking about it, but I don't hear it, so... also a visual timeline. We do a condensed in summary thing at the end, and a visual would have really helped that out, I think. So good notes for the future, more brief history things. If they have an in summary, we'll probably have a timeline, stuff like that. Azure Lake and Black and White, people mention that one a lot, or sorry, Black or White. And I kind of hear it, but it's not nearly as explicit as a lot of the other ones. So I'm not super convinced. I would want to really take more time to look into them because they are very similar. They are definitely similar-ish, but they are nowhere near as close as some of the other ones where the matchings are exact. That's the thing. I think the furthest away that any of those songs gets in terms of matching them is the credits theme and Stranger in Moscow, and even then, the bass line is identical, and there's very little pitch shifting that needs to happen to make those like fit the way they need to. So Azure Lake and Black or White, not so sure about that one, so I left that one out. That was actually in the script at first, and I decided to take it out because while I was editing it, I was like, it's not a believable comparison, you know? People also were asking about two things in particular. One was, is this the reason that Sonic 3 didn't really get much love in Sonic Generations? And likewise, why Sonic 3 isn't looking to get a whole lot of love in Sonic Mania? And the other one is people asking why there hasn't been a more concerted effort to go talk to C. Sirocco Jones or Brad Buxer. The short answer I have for that is I don't know. The slightly longer answer and more of an educated guess is that there is probably this is probably involved in some of the reasons for that. I can tell you that the Michael Jackson video is not monetized because of content ID flagging from Sony Music. I tried to appeal it. I argued, it's an educational video. It's all strictly there for educational purposes to elucidate the point in the debate that we're having with it. Didn't work, and I'm not feeling up for risking the biggest video that we've ever made in 6 years and the entire channel along with it to go fight with Sony. So I've tried reaching out to them a couple times, haven't heard back. I'm going to give it another shot, especially now the video is actually doing pretty well. It'd be nice to be able to get something, but it's not important. But I've been hearing some rumors, and I haven't been able to substantiate them myself, so I don't want to take this all as hearsay, not fact. But it sounds like there have been some murmurs of lawsuits recently, over the past year or so in particular, that involve at least C. Sirocco Jones, Brad Buxer, and I guess the Michael Jackson estate, along with Sega. So there's the issue of that also potentially being the reason there's no Sonic 3 on iOS. Probably because once you start dealing with stuff like Apple, it gets a little bit leery when you start having issues with your music licensing. So yeah, it sounds like there may be some legal scuffle going on over music rights. I will do some more research into that because I'm curious about it myself. If I find any interesting stuff, any bombshells in particular, I will bring that up and make another video because I've been really interested in that for a while. This video has gone on for an eternity, and it probably just confused everybody way more than it needed to. What I would recommend, honestly, is just go to youtube.com/dpadfm. We have a dashboard that highlights all of our stuff there that gives you a nice breakdown of the series we're working on, the games we're playing right now, our franchise plays. You can also head to dpad.fm/wiki, where, among other things, there is a list of games page that will show you every single game we have ever played. It's in alphabetical order, but you can resort it by date. You can resort it by episode count. You can, do it by console, by series that it's a part of, all that stuff. And if you're interested, then you're welcome to head over to patreon.com/dpadfm. We're happy to have you. We're working on our first Patreon reward for hitting $150 a month, which is a dramatic reading of The Eye of Argon, one of the worst fantasy novels ever written, mostly because it was written by a kid years ago and got accidentally published in a way where everybody saw it. So it's interesting, but I don't know how to end these things right now. This is all I'll zoom in for a sec. I've been sleeping so badly because I've been so excited about all this stuff lately. So it's been a roller coaster. I'm so happy to have all you guys, everyone who's been here since 2011, the people from 2013, 14, and people who are here now. It's been awesome having you guys. We hope that we can make some really cool stuff for you. There's a lot of cool stuff coming too. We have at least 3 more big projects that we're in the process of putting together. One of which, let's see, I think the general time frame for those is like one that's being made for next year, one that's being made for about 2-3 years from now, and one that's being made for 4 or 5 years from now. And that sounds ridiculous, but I don't know, they're big projects. I want to make sure they're done right. So that's what I got. If you go on our page and hit search, you could probably find a lot of stuff that I didn't even mention because I'm just there's so much. It's 4,000 videos. I hope you find something you like. So thank you so much for watching and for joining in with us. This has been a hell of a ride. Even as I've recorded this, we've gotten 10 more subscribers. So it's ludicrous how much this has meant. Our channel growing by 50% in 3 days. It's unreal. So 5,000 subscribers, that's huge. We're going to start looking into adding credits for our videos now. YouTube allows you to do that at 5,000, so we're going to start messing with that a little bit. So thank you. Thank you again. Thank you all so much. I can't say it enough. We got so much cool stuff that we're working on, so I hope that it's great. I hope you like it. Feel free to leave some, thoughts in the comments. Let us know how you found us in the first place. If it wasn't Michael Jackson, let us know your favorite moments if you've been around for a while. Actually, if you have been around for a while, feel free to let us know what your favorite moments from across the entire channel has been, and especially anything from this month, anything from August that has been one of your favorite things. Drop that in on us, because I might be working on a little something that'd be nice to have a little bit of feedback from you guys for, because we would be nothing and nowhere without you. So thank you again. Have a great weekend, and we're looking forward to Sonic Mania, and we'll see you then. Bye.